Hello everyone, this is Satish Kumar, and we are seeing self management related topics. And I've already given some four lessons. Please go and watch those lessons. And today we are going to learn about a learning theory. Okay, and you might wonder why we are uh, going to learn about a learning theory for self management. This learning theory is very useful in in helping in changing a lot of unwanted behavior, for example addictive behaviors. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to know what this theory is about. Okay, this learning theory is called the classical conditioning classical conditioning, a very famous theory. In fact, this was one of the most famous theory ever produced. Okay, and this theory was actually given by a person named Ivan Pavlov. Okay, he was a Russian physiologist. He's not a psychologist, he was a physiologist, a person who was doing research on medicine. But um, his major contribution was for psychology, okay, in terms of classical conditioning. So, what is this classical conditioning learning? Okay, see, what Pavlov did was he was working on his physiological experiments with a dog. Okay, he was measuring the amount of salivation that a dog segregate seeing the food. Okay, that is what he was doing. But while doing his experiment, he accidentally came up with a very unique experience. That is, see, a dog will salivate only when it sees the food. Okay, that is the natural response of a dog, and the natural stimulus is the food. Okay, by seeing a food, the dog will get salivate. Okay, that is the natural stimulus and the natural response. But when he was doing that experiment, at times the dog was salivating even before the food was placed in front of the dog. So he was a bit confused. So he wanted to learn why the dog salivated even before the food was presented. Okay, in fact, what he did was, see, a dog will not salivate for the tone of a bell. Okay, see, is there any relation? A bell ringing, okay, dog salivating. Is there any relation? No. But it happened accidentally. So he wanted to know why the dog uh, salivated for that. Okay, so what he did was, first he rang the bell for a new dog. That dog didn't salivate. And second, what he did was, he will rang the bell first, then immediately will give the food. Okay, so this kind of trials he regularly did. First he will rang the bell, then he will give the food to the dog. Like that, many times he did trials. Okay, so the dog, every time before taking the food, no, it will get a ring, a bell tone. Before the food comes, there will be a bell tone. So the dog sooner or later associated the bell with the food. So after sometimes what happened was, after repeated trials, some 10-50 trials like that, it happened, no, the 51 time when this just rang the bell, no, the dog started salivating. Okay, that is his experiment. A dog will not salivate just to the ring of a bell, just, but because every time when the bell was rang and immediately after that there was a food given to the dog, no, the dog associated whenever the bell rang there will be food. So what happened is, after some time when the bell rang, the dog started salivating. Okay, this is known as classical conditioning. Okay, the dog was conditioned to respond, okay, to a uh, conditioned response. See, there is a unconditioned response, that is the food, that is called UCSA in this theory. Okay, we don't need to go to the jargons. uh, See, a food will natural stimulus, it will get a natural response. But a bill is a neutral stimulus. But the dog was conditioned to respond to the bill. That is this theory about. Okay. So, see, here again, there is also another thing. If next time, every time when the bill is rang, after this conditioning has been done, no, after these things have been done, no, if in the future every time the bell is rang but the food is not provided, no, slowly this dog, every time after this trials, in the next future trials, slowly for every repeated bell ringing, no, the dog will salivate but he will get disappointed. The next time also it will salivate, and after sometimes it will learn that now the food is not coming, and after some time the dog will not respond to the bell for salivating. This is called extinction. Okay, it will uh, what happened, it is the conditioned response was eliminated. Extinction, it is not forgetting completely, it is not forgetting completely, because what happened was, sometimes after a lot of period, after this kind of extinction happened, no, after these kind of trials where the dog, every time the bell rang but the dog was not given food, no, and the dog after some time did not responded to the bell, no, after some time, sometimes gone some period, no, sometimes suddenly when the bell rang, no, the dog started salivating. So it is not entirely forgotten. This is called spontaneous recovery. Okay, this is called spontaneous recovery. And this is one reason why people who are trying to change the behavior will change the behavior for some time, and suddenly when they get exposure to that behavior, no, that something that, no, they will once again engaging relapse. Okay, I'll give an example. A person is a regular addict of uh, uh, drug. Okay, uh, he's a drinking person. Okay, what happened is he decided to stop the drinking, so he never went near the shops of drinking or met people related who will take him to drinking. But suddenly one day he saw one of his friends who with whom he used to drink, and he was forcing him to drink, although he was resisting at the first, I won't drink. But that person asked him to open the bottle, because this guy was very famous in drinking. When he tries to open the drinking, no, it bought him the that that opening that bottle, no, it bought him the good days of drinking. So the way some people will open the bottle, it will shown be like that. Okay, this is was from taken from a film, but it is true. This kind of cues, no, this is the cue. Every time when he drinks, no, he used to do that kind of behavior to open the bottle. So that brought him that memory, and he immediately started craving for the drinking, and he took and drink it. Okay, that is how relapse happen. So this knowledge is very important for us who are trying to change their behavior. That is the main reason I tried to uh, bring this lesson. Okay, so I have given you this classical conditioning theory in order to use this classical conditioning learning to apply it to change the behavior. Okay, for example, an addicted person, okay, will have certain cues, as I said earlier, no. In this case I will give two other examples. See, every time a person who is working, no, when he comes to his home, no, whenever come to his home and he sit watching TV, and whenever he watches TV, he will eat some junk food. Okay, that comes to him naturally. So naturally, watching TV is associated with eating junk foods. This will lead to him to gain weight. Okay, so watch television is the cue here. Television is the bell here. The food is associated with television. Okay, similarly, a person who is returning from office, no, he will come by a car, and every time when he comes in the car, he will smoke. Okay, and he wants to change that behavior. Okay, and every time when he comes to the car, no, what will happen is the car is the cue, like a bell, and every time when he comes to the car, he will start craving. Okay, so in order to avoid this, what the people will trying to change the behavior will do is they will try to avoid the television. So they will say that I'm watching the television, that is why I'm eating. I'm coming by the car and it reminds me of my smoking, so I'm once again taking smoke. So they will try to avoid both these things, the person who want to change. But actually this will not entirely solve the problem, because here the relapse will be possible sooner or later. One day he will watch the television, and once again the relapse will happen, because it is a natural behavior. Okay, similarly one day he will look the car, will go to a car, and that will be very powerful. That is the problem here. When the extinction happens, no, right, you do not go to the car and you do not watch the television when the execution happen, and suddenly when you see that after a long time, no, there will be an immediate spontaneous recovery when you encounter the television. So what the psychologist suggests was, instead of trying to avoid the cue, that is the for the bell is the cue for the dog. Similarly here these two persons, television and the car is the cue. Television brings him to thoughts to eat, and the car brings him thought to smoke. What these persons should do is, whenever they will try to control watching, exposing to the television and not eating, this kind of practice should happen, and this will eliminate the will help try to extinction the what is say, the cue. The power of the cue will diminish. That is the uh, television will not in the future bring back memories of food, eating food, and car will not bring back memory of uh, taking smoke. Okay, so being in the car and not smoking, those kind of behavior has to be practiced. Only then, why this is important, this cue exposure therapy, this is called. Why this is important is because only by this the relapse will not happen. Otherwise, when you encounter this after some time, there is a possible of relapse. Okay, so this is how classical conditioning theory could be helpful to uh, avoid change behavior. There are also other examples, like similarly the pairing, no, the conditioning could be used to avoid behavior. The conditioning, how it could, no, see, um, pairing of a unwanted behavior with the unwanted experience. Okay, so a person who's drinking, no, if a person is drinking, no, we could use aversion therapy. That is pairing of unwanted behavior with the unwanted response. What it means is, if a person is drinking, no, we may mix something in that drinking which will make him very tired or vomiting and other things. Okay, and every time in the previous time when he drank, he got pleasant experience, so he's continuing, but now he is getting very unpleasant experience. So the drinking will be associated with that unpleasant experience, and he will forget it. Okay, so these could also be used. So this learning, classical conditioning, could be used for um changing behavior. There are multiple other examples, hundreds of examples for all your behavior to change. In fact, we have been talking about waking up at early 6 o'clock, no, that could also be conditioned. Okay, everything could be conditioned, lot of behavior. Although this is not the best learning method, this conditioning could help in changing lot of behaviors. Change in behavior we can bring. That is why this theory is very important. That is why I try to bring this theory in this self management class. I hope you got some point and you use from this to change any behavior of yours. Okay, apply these principles. Okay, bye.